guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy. In my channel I talk about plants, my experiences with them, and just other things that I feel passionate about. Before I go into today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to my subscribers. I just reached over 50 subscribers. I know it's not a big thing, but it is a big thing to me because I just love talking about plants so much, and it really makes me so happy that there are more than 50 of you who have signed up to kind of come hang out with me and listen to me ramble about plants. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Today's video, I'm going to talk about my plant care routine. I'm sure there's going to be many little things that I am not remembering to cover, but I think we should just go ahead and do it anyways. I have over maybe 150 houseplants, and I know that it could seem a little bit overwhelming, but it's actually not so overwhelming for me in practice. So I just want to share with you guys a little bit of my experience, and hopefully, even if our life circumstances are not similar, you could still find use in some of the things that I do to help you take care of your plants, maybe in an easier, more joyous way. I actually wrote down some notes so that I don't forget some things I want to share with you. So bear with me as I kind of look down in my notes. Oh, so I want to say that for me, I'm a mom, stay-at-home mom. So while my attention is really kind of required by my Wolfie, quite often I am home a lot of the time. So there are many little bits of time that I could tend to my plants. So my schedule will be very different than a lot of you. So yeah. So everybody's kind of, I think houseplant care will look a little bit different, but there will also be similarities. One of the biggest thing about plant care for me is giving them water. And watering over 150 houseplants could seem a little bit daunting, but it's actually not so daunting because I kind of do it in groups. A lot of my plants are kind of naturally in groups anyways, in their light requirements and watering requirements. For example, my succulents are sitting by the southern window where they're getting most sunlight. And you know, for succulents, they don't need to be watered as often. So how I group them is just that they're kind of together anyway. So when I do water them, I'll just collect all the plants, all the succulents at once and water them that way. So then it really doesn't matter if it's like 5 plants or 10 plants within a group. It's very easy to kind of collect them. They're usually about 4-inch pots for me. I want to show you an example. I have a few little Hoyas. This is not all of them, but they're all kind of in this like 2-inch little pots. And they're all sitting together in the same location, and they're all in similar potting mediums. So I know they will need to be watered at around the same time. And Hoyas have, even though they are different individually, they have similar watering needs. They don't really like to be overwatered. So when I do water the Hoyas in little Hoya pots, I will just collect all of them in like a tray or a bigger plate and take them to the sink, and I water them that way. Similarly, I have 3 Hoya carnosas. I have a Hoya carnosa Chelsea, carnosa queen, and a regular carnosa. They're in similar sized pots, and I always water them together as well. And they're sitting at around the same level shelf as well. For other groupings, I have, say, philodendrons. They are also like similar sizes and similar watering needs, and I usually keep them on this area, so I will water them together. So instead of thinking of how like individual plants, then the plant care becomes more like groupings of plants. I think it takes away some of the stress when you think about them in groups. I also have a group of, like, say they're kind of harder to reach. Then when I have enough time, I'll grab my ladder and I'll just collect all of the harder to reach plants. Also, I have bigger plants, and that's like another day when I deal with my bigger plants. So yeah, when they're in groups, it's just less overwhelming to take care of them. What else did I want to talk about the groups? So each day I may have a different group that I take care of, or I may take care of a group of plants during the morning and then another one during the afternoon, just whenever time that I have. And the lucky thing about plants is that they are quite forgiving in terms of underwatering or not watering them for a long time. They tend to be okay if you, with a little bit of neglect. Overwatering is actually what hurts houseplants more than forgetting to water them. So, give or take like a few days, they will be fine. And some plants will tell you, they will droop, or they'll let you know that they're in need of watering. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to bring my moisture meter over. But before I water, I will always take a look at the color of the potting medium. If it's like a darker color, it indicates that it's kind of wetter, and I will feel the weight of the plant. Once you get to know your plant better, you know how light it is. The weight indicates how moist the soil is, and I'll touch it. But I always will use the moisture meter to final check that they are indeed dry. Because some plants really, the roots don't like to be overwatered. If they sit in like wetness for too long, it's not good for them. Also, it's a breeding ground for fungus gnats. Yeah, am I missing anything in terms of watering? I have a little watering can, and I always try to put tap water in there and let it just sit overnight. And if that's not enough, I always use my Brita water filter and I use that water to water most of my kind of more rare plants like Hoyas and my philodendrons. But for my bigger plants that I find they're like more resilient and more kind of like they don't mind tap water, I will just use regular tap water. But if I can, I usually use the filter. Like for my big monstera, I just bring my entire jug of Brita filter and I water it where it is. And I have a saucer underneath it, so I don't need to lift up the big pot of plants. Yeah. So I use the kitchen sink. I have a huge kitchen sink, and sometimes I'll use the bathtub. I don't bottom water because I have so many plants, and bottom water takes a while for them to soak up. It's just a technique that doesn't really work with my temperament and schedule. And I've talked about this before. Every time I water my plants, I will spray them down with a kind of diluted insecticide and neem oil mixture. It's to prevent the pests from manifesting in my plants. I do this as a preventative measure. And every time I bring a new plant home, I will always spray it down before I introduce it to the rest of my plant family. I think that's all I wanted to say about watering. Another thing about my plant care is that for those of you who love plants, you know, like a part of being a plant parent is the joy of kind of spending time with them, observing their changes and their growth. So I don't really find it to be a chore. I enjoy walking around and checking on and visiting with my plants. But that's also the time when I'm noticing, oh, does this one need to be watered soon? How does this one look? And finding pests before it becomes like a big problem, infestation. So that's also part of plant care routine, but also just part of like the fun of being a plant mom. yeah, giving attention. Oh, so during this time, I will give more attention to my more rare plants, like say this like alocasia friedag, my monstera elbow that I just potted, that and my Hoyas that I'm rooting. So sorry, that's my instant pot going. So this is also the time when I'm going around visiting my plants. I'm also giving extra attention to plants that are propagating, or more rare kind of temperamental plants, to make sure that they're just okay. I'm just giving them a little bit extra attention and love. Yeah. Okay, in terms of fertilizer, I'm really not an expert. I'm really lazy, so for all my plants, that if the soil is kind of like this, like you can see the surface of the soil, I just sprinkle the little slow release fertilizer kind of pellets into them, and I do it very not to how much they recommend, just a little bit. So then I know every time I water them, they're getting a little bit of fertilizer. For my string of hearts, because I can't see the soil, I once in a while, maybe once every month or two, I will dilute liquid fertilizer and fertilize it that way. Yeah, that's how I fertilize my plants. And I'm not stopping to fertilize during the winter, because I find that most of my plants are still growing indoor, because they're getting grow lights and it's warm inside, so they are not dormant, they're still growing, so I'm giving them just that little bit of boost. For some reason my video got cut off at the last part, so I'm just gonna film the last bit of it to say goodbye. So I finished talking about the fertilizer. So once in a while, when I do have extra time, I will repot my plants. When I notice that they need to be upgraded into a bigger pot to support the growth. I would also, if I have that extra time, I really love sitting down and wiping the leaves and really visit with like that particular plant. So that's also part of my plant care routine. I think that's all that I do, but I may be missing something. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about in terms of like plant care or just anything else. Yeah, I meant to tell, in the part that was cut off, I was telling you guys that I'm going to repot my big monstera. I already bought the pot, but I'm looking for a moss pole. Once I got that, then I will repot the monster with you guys. Also, I have a super exciting plant haul to share with you guys. I haven't even posted the picture on Instagram because it's just, to me, it's such a unicorn plant, and I just want to unveil the plant on YouTube with you guys before I post it. I will do that next time. That's all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like the video, please click like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you want me to talk about to share with you guys. That will be all from me today. Thank you. Bye-bye.